The extra chair. Every evening, Mrs. Eliza placed an extra chair at her small wooden table. It wasn't fancy, just an old chair with one leg slightly shorter than the others. She had owned it for years, yet no one ever sat in it. Still, she pulled it out each night, carefully aligning it with the rest. Her neighbor, Sam, noticed this through the open kitchen window. One evening, curiosity got the better of him. Expecting company, he asked with a smile. Mrs. Eliza smiled back, though her eyes carried a softness that suggested a long story. I always am, she replied. Years ago, Mrs. Eliza's husband used to come home late from work. She would keep dinner warm and an extra chair ready, no matter how tired she was. When he passed away, the habit stayed. At first, the chair reminded her of loss. Later, it became something else, a quiet invitation. One cold night, there was a knock at her door. A young woman stood outside, shivering, her phone dead and her bus long gone. Without hesitation, Mrs. Eliza stepped aside. Come in, she said gently. I have a chair for you. They shared soup and silence, then stories and laughter. The extra chair was finally used, not by the one Mrs. Eliza had lost, but by someone who needed a place to rest. From that night on, the chair was rarely empty. A neighbor stopped by with bad news and stayed longer than planned. A delivery driver accepted a glass of water and a moment of peace. Sam himself sat there one evening when loneliness felt heavier than pride. Mrs. Eliza never announced what the chair was for. She simply kept setting it out. Because kindness, she believed, should always have a place to sit. One evening, the chair stayed empty. Mrs. Eliza noticed it right away. The soup cooled untouched, the room quieter than usual. She told herself it was nothing, people were busy, seasons changed, but her eyes lingered on the chair longer than before. That night, a storm swept through the town. Rain rattled the windows, and the power flickered until the house fell into darkness. Then came a knock. Mrs. Eliza opened the door to find Sam standing there, soaked and breathless. I saw your lights go out, he said. I thought, maybe you shouldn't be alone tonight. She stepped aside without a word, guiding him in by candlelight. He sat in the extra chair, water dripping onto the floor, his shoulders slumped. After a while, Sam spoke. You know, I used to wonder why you kept that chair. Now I understand. Mrs. Eliza listened as he told her about his wife, gone for 2 years, about dinners eaten in silence, about how loneliness can grow louder when no one sees it. She placed a warm blanket around his shoulders. The chair works both ways, she said softly. It's for those who need company, and for those willing to offer it. The storm passed, but something stayed. The next morning, Sam brought a small cushion for the chair. A neighbor added a teacup. Someone else left a note, thank you for the seat. Soon, the chair became more than furniture. It became a promise. A promise that no one who knocked would be turned away. A promise that kindness did not need to be grand, only present. A promise that there would always be room for one more. And every evening, as Mrs. Eliza set the table, she smiled. Because the extra chair was no longer waiting for someone lost. It was waiting for someone to be found.